And hello everyone, JustAspect here and welcome to Draw My Life. Now I'm sure you've seen this concept many times before, especially when everybody and their mother were making these kinds of videos back in 2015. But I actually never touched the Draw My Life concept, mostly because I have absolutely zero drawing talent and was terrified that I was not capable of producing a video like this. But I decided to try it anyway. So without further ado, here's my life story and some horribly drawn pictures along with it. My name is Daniel. I'm 18 years old and I was born in the capital of Belgium, called Antwerpen. I don't remember all that much about me as a baby and never really bothered asking about it, so apologies if I skip through certain periods. My mother was in Belgium for her work at the time, which is why I was born there. Other than that, I don't have too much association with Belgium at all, but they do make amazing fries. We lived in Belgium for a couple of months before moving to Russia. Yes, that's right, I actually lived in Russia at one point. My mother had contacts in Russia for her work, which is the main reason we lived there. Soon after we moved to the Netherlands, which is where my dad lived. He lived in Valkenswaard, which is a place really close to Eindhoven, which is one of the most touristic places in the Netherlands. After this, my parents divorced when I was approximately 1, maybe 2 years old. Again, these dates are very vague due to me never really asking for details, because to be honest, I don't care all that much. Me and my mom moved back to Russia, where she also met who would soon after become my stepdad. Finally, we moved back to the Netherlands when I was only 4.5 years old. This time we moved to a city called Den Bosch, or 's-Hertogenbosch as some people call it. At first we were living in a house we had rented, and lived there for about 5 years. I soon started going to school and began actually learning the Dutch language, playing with some friends I had made and just growing up as a normal Dutch kid would. The first school I went to, I started at the age of 5. I unfortunately had to redo the year due to not knowing the Dutch language well enough. Nothing too interesting happened at that school, so I will skip ahead until 2 years later. That year was the last year I was there before switching schools. Why? Because the teachers were being really unfair. In that last year there, I was among the smartest students in the class, which is not really a high bar, but for some reason, the teacher really did not like that. I was getting homework at the age of 8. Now this might not sound like a bad thing, but keep in mind that I was also the only student in the entire class that was getting this homework. I told this to my parents and they got pretty upset. This led to me being transferred to a new school next year, and I must say I like this second school a lot more. I stayed at the school until the last year and graduated in 2016. After this, it was time for elementary/high school. Now, the elementary school I went to was a pretty bad experience. Especially in the later years, I started struggling a lot. But it was also a bad experience socially. You see, as a little kid, I would always be very restricted in terms of using the internet, or having my own mobile phone I could do anything I want with. It was so bad that for the longest time, I had a phone I could do almost nothing with. It did not have an internet browser or an app store because they were all restricted. This also meant my phone did not have WhatsApp, which in the Netherlands is literally the #1 communication tool. Everyone and their mother uses WhatsApp here. So when I got to elementary school, on the first day, the teacher was telling us stuff about making a group chat for the class on WhatsApp for important updates and stuff. I had to tell my teacher in front of the class that my phone did not have WhatsApp because my parents were very strict. This led to nearly the entire class making fun of me, with some people making fun of me for the entire year. It was a pretty bad time, especially because for the first 2 years of me being at that school, my parents would not let up about me being allowed to install things like WhatsApp and other apps on my phone. They kept saying that I could manage without those apps and that if I did not pay any attention to the kids, the bullying would stop on its own. And let me tell you, every parent that sees their kid get bullied and tells them it will stop by itself is fucking wrong. At elementary school age, which in the Netherlands is like 13 to 16, kids don't bully just because they want a reaction. They also do it because of other reasons. Reasons like self-esteem, looking cool in front of others, or some other reason, I don't know. The school itself obviously did nothing about this. But that first year is also where my YouTube path had started. You see, before this, I never had a YouTube account, because I had no idea how to make one. I've wanted one since I was a little kid, but every time I tried talking to my parents about it, they would tell me I could not have one until I was 13. So when I started going to the school, they actually provided us with a school email. And with that email also came a Google account. And of course a YouTube account. I immediately started using this account to upload random vlogs and video that I was making in my free time. I don't know how many of you knew this, but I did indeed start out on YouTube as a vlogger in September 2016. I kept uploading vlogs and other IRL videos, and would also do streams about once a week. However, that same year I ran into a problem. I knew that once I graduated that school, this email my YouTube channel was bound to would be taken away from me, which would mean I would no longer have access to my channel. So I decided to create a new YouTube channel with an email I had created myself, which is actually the channel you're watching this video on right now. It was created in summer 2017. It did me mean I had to start over, but I didn't mind that all too much. This new channel was called AltedTuber, which is a name that a few of you might recognize. Keep in mind, back then all I had was an iPhone 5 to record and edit all my videos on. So the editing was not really over the top because I was limited by iMovie's restrictions. However, ever since I was a little kid, I had always wanted to start a gaming channel. And before, I never really know how to do that. At one point, when I was at my dad's house for the weekend, I managed to put together somewhat of a gaming setup. It wasn't anything special, just an off-brand 5-euro mouse and a Lenovo laptop, but it was enough for me to start recording gaming videos on that I would upload to a separate channel. I uploaded gaming commentaries and let's plays to this channel, while still doing vlogs and IRL things on the other channel. But then the third year rolled around, and without me having the slightest clue, soon my life would change completely. A couple of months upon the third year starting, I was pulled out of class by my mentor one time. She said she had set up an appointment with someone that might help me become more social again. Now, you're gonna laugh at this, but apparently my school had something at the time called the Social Club. Yeah, not a joke. That's what it was called. This club was essentially a bunch of massive introverts who would get together and really just hang out and trying to befriend one another. In this social club, amongst others, was also a girl who would soon become my best friend. Someone who even today I still see as a sister. This girl we will call May. And the two of us share quite the history. I had a friend group bigger than I ever expected, and I was super happy with it. But just as I thought everything was so amazing, sometime later it all came crashing down. My parents decided to go to Italy for 3 weeks. And while that vacation on itself was great, what happened to me during it was far from it. At this time, I was a staff member of a specific Discord server, which was dedicated to online therapy. My role in that server was to help people whenever my role was pinged, which I liked doing, and probably would still be doing today if it wasn't for this one thing that happened. One time, about 2 weeks into Italy, I was helping this one guy who was in pretty bad shape. I won't go too deep into it, but he had basically lost everything. He had really bad contact with his parents, his girlfriend had left him, yet they still did stuff together, and it was unclear to him whether she wanted him or not. Just pretty fucked up stuff. This guy needed professional help. Help I could not offer him due to my lack of experience, but I still tried my hardest. I skipped beach walks with the family, lunch, I didn't care. I was going to help this guy as much as I could. A couple of days later, I got a text from him asking, "Are you one of his friends?" Followed by, "This is not the owner of this account you are talking to." At first, I thought the account was hijacked or something. Then he told me it was the guy's uncle that was typing on his account. I asked him what he was doing on his account, and that is when I got hit with the news. The person I was helping had hung himself by their gate the night before. The reason I'm telling you this is because this was the point when I realized I could not help everyone. That some of those people need actual professional help, not some dumbass on the internet who can barely make himself breakfast. No need to say this news was a bit much for it to handle. It also led me to quitting the therapy server about a month later, and even abandoning my dream of becoming a therapist as a whole. But even that was not enough to ruin my vacation. During the last week of Italy, I overheard my parents talk about possibly moving. This scared me quite a bit, because for me, this meant losing my consistent contact with May, which at the time was helping me a lot. I told her this news, and it shook her even more than me. I tried whatever I could, but there was no comforting her. Thankfully, we never did end up moving. Upon me returning from Italy, things started looking a little brighter again. This was also the time when I had started transitioning my channel into a gaming channel. For a little while, everything was going smooth again. Also, this was the time when I first started editing for Opposite. That opportunity was probably the biggest push I've ever had as a content creator. Some people from there still watch me today, which I really want to thank you for. I edited for Opposite for about half a year, until he more or less abandoned content creating on YouTube. While this was happening, things were still going downhill. Not too much happened after this until summer 2020, when we had to come home from our vacation earlier than we planned, because our cat Findus was ill. There was a tumor discovered in his body and he died soon after. The second half of 2020, not that much happened. I kept making YouTube videos, trying to grow the channel, and was sitting at around 175 subscribers in November. Then I finally got my first proper PC for my birthday. It took a little while to set up, but eventually was done, and I was ready to roll into 2021. 2021 was a great year. I started discovering Adobe Premiere Pro and learning how to become a better editor. The channel was also growing a great amount, and over 2021 I managed to go from 200 subscribers in January to 500 in December. During 2021 I also graduated high school and started going to college. 2022 so far has been odd. Now, I will admit, the start of it was great. I had my first video on YouTube hit over 3,000 views, and during that time I also got a girlfriend again, who I'm still with to this day. Now, of course, we also cannot forget the great loss the internet suffered this year. Technoblade, a Minecraft YouTuber, and someone who I watched probably more than I should have been, passed away due to stage 4 terminal cancer. Many people are still trying to come to terms with it because he really was a great influence on many. I'm also still upset about it because he really did deserve better. He deserved so much more and just never got what he should have. And that's where I stand today. I started my new college and overall my life at the moment is stable. It may be completely different from how it was in 2019, but it's also similar enough for me to know it's still me. Me and May have warmed up to each other once again, and today I really see her as a sister more than anything else. My girlfriend is doing good, and I hope you are too. Thank you so much for watching the videos I put so much time into creating, and thank you for being a part of the community. Trust me, I know how cliche this all sounds, but I appreciate each and every single one of you. The ones of you who have helped me make the videos possible, like Opposite, Rainy, Sam, Jenny, Viking, Coden. The ones of you who have supported me through all of it and stuck around despite everything. And the ones of you just watching the videos. If there's anything you'd like to know, shout it at me in the comments and I'll answer it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for believing. Thank you for watching my Draw My Life. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you have a fantastic day, or week, or year, or even life, because you deserve it no less than any of us do. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you did enjoy this video, and if you did, please be sure to pop the like button like a cold one, subscribe down below to join the Dr. Pepper army, and I will see you next time. Peace.
Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself